Arts and this edition of Art Center Live. My name is Hyla Crane and I'm the Executive Director, and I'm thrilled that you could join us this afternoon. As always, we have a very special guest with us. I'd like to introduce you to Joel Shapses, who is an artist, a sculptor, whose work is presently here at the Marco Island Center for the Arts in our gallery, in our exhibition, The Duality of Artistry. Joel, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. We're thrilled. I know you're in North Carolina, so thank you for joining us from your holiday. Joel, can you tell us a little bit about the work that you have here in this show, the mediums in which you work and what somebody can expect? Because the concept of the duality of artistry was picking artists who work in two different mediums and showing the juxtaposition. Can you tell us a little bit about your work that's in the gallery right now?
Well, I selected works to be kind of unique and different media, because my theme for my work is diversity in sculpture. And I like to use different media materials, combine them, not combine them, or have them work on their own. And it gives me more freedom and creativity.
Can you tell us a little bit about the materials you used for this exhibition and what you see as sort of the duality? I mean, is it stone and metal? That was at least an observation I had. Could you sort of tell us a little bit about the materials that you did use?
Well, I used different materials, including aluminum, fused glass, bronze, granite, marble, alabaster, just to name a few. And the way I combined some of these things came out very interesting.
They are very interesting. What's your favorite medium to work in?
Right now, well, I've always liked stone.
Mm-hmm.
So I started in stone, and I continue to do that. But I'm also playing with other materials that I'd like to try, and such as aluminum. I started a few years ago. Fused glass I started a few years ago, and but fused glass is very challenging because it sometimes doesn't do what you exactly want it to do, or after it's done, it does something you don't want it to do, like crack or break, and as it cools.
Well, do you ever have any unexpected surprises for the good when you're working with that medium?
Well, each surprise creates a new sculpture. You said, well, especially in stone, I'm working on a piece of stone, and I didn't expect it to break off in that spot. I said, well, we'll have to go in a different direction now. And sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad, but most of the times it's good.
Of all of the pieces that you have right now in our gallery, which is your favorite?
Oh, let's see. Well, I like my Three Amigos right now is kind of a fun piece. It's three.
My favorite. That's my favorite.
When I did that, I said I wanted something that would create a smile on somebody's face, and have them feel good. So
yes.
I create to inspire, move, and get in people's thoughts going.
Well, I find that the piece that you're referring to, so that those who are with us will know, is made of metal. Is that aluminum?
Aluminum, yes.
And it is three sort of very almost whimsical characters represented. I don't know, they look like they're dancing to me. It makes me smile every time I go in. It is a beautiful, beautiful work. That one is my favorite too. So Joel, tell me a little bit about your training. I mean, how long have you been working as an artist?
Well, actually, I never majored in art. When I was in college, I was going for pre-med, and my junior year decided I'd like to take this course in sculpture for non-art majors. And prior to that, I never really took any art courses. When I was a little kid, I used to play with clay. And then I said, well, let's see what this is all about. And it just created something I didn't know that was in me, and I continued from then. And even when I graduated, I continued to do it more. This class what I took was basically not geared for art majors, and people outside the college were matriculating into it, like adults taking sculpture. And somebody said, well, because I took it for 4 semesters, and the instructor, after the first piece, he was kind of amazed at what I did. And I was, I thought that was good. But somebody said, oh, you should exhibit work. And I said, oh, all right. And then I started exhibiting in outdoor art shows. And actually, that's how I got involved in creating a lot more art. I exhibited in New York in the Washington Square Outdoor Art Exhibit, which was around for like 50 years. And then some other shows down the coast. And then I landed in Florida and did, when I moved here back in 71, I did the outdoor shows here. And I used to do like 14 a year. In addition to doing my dentistry, because I went to dental school.
Oh, you're a dentist? I didn't know that you were a dentist.
Yeah, I did this. This is pre-med, and I went to Temple Dental. And one of the funny things, well, it wasn't funny, but our first year we were, working in tiny pieces of wax to create teeth. And it was dental anatomy. So I said, well, after the first year, I would try one in marble. I did it over the summer, and I brought it back to the school, and they went crazy. It was, to scale of a marble molar, and it was like, about 10 inches high. And they eventually gave me a special award for it.
Wow.
And then after I finished it during the summer, I went to an art show in New York, in Long Island, and that was one of the pieces I entered. And it turned out it won second prize, and that was the first prize that I started, winning. And I won over, I don't know, almost 100 awards since then.
That's fantastic, and I am not surprised having seen your work. And it's very impressive that you basically had 2 careers going side by side in separate tracks to be working as a dentist and also to be working as an artist. Although I have to tell you, it's not that unusual. I know we've had a couple of other dentists who have been in here who are sculptors, and I can't explain the phenomenon, but you are not the first dentist who is also working as a sculptor full time. I assume now that you are working primarily, though, in your art. Is that
right?
correct?
Well, I've probably done over close to 1,000 pieces, and they're actually all over the world. And I've done some large pieces, weighed a few tons. And it's like it's been my love all this time that I didn't really know I had. And I just get sometimes I just can't wait to get into the studio because I have an idea, I want to get it going. And now that I'm retired, in quotes, I'm busier now than I was before. So I have a studio and a gallery in Naples.
And where is your gallery in Naples, Joe?
It's on Shirley Street, 6240 Shirley Street. And then across the street, just opened my studio where I have like 3 or 4 tons of stone in there to work on.
3 or 4 tons of stone. That'd be quite a delivery when somebody brings that to your doorstep.
It's need forklifts to move it around. So.
Well, again, your work really is quite extraordinary, and we feel ever so lucky that you have brought some of your work down here to us at the Marco Island Center for the Arts to be part of our present exhibition, The Duality of Artistry. The exhibit is going to be open until August 3rd, so we encourage you all to come on down, check it out. Admission here, it's always free and open at the Marco Island Center for the Arts, and it is a truly extraordinary exhibition. Now, Joel, I have one more question for you. Who or what has been a major influence on you as an artist?
Well, when I first started, when I was in Philadelphia, went to the Rodin Museum, which was one of the biggest Rodin museums in the country, or it probably is. And I liked Henry Moore, Barbara Hepworth, and Jean Art. Those are my three favorites. And I like their forms and their creativity with what they did. And that's kind of fueled my inspiration.
So you're influenced by some other artists and their work. Is that so? That those have been primary influences for you,
right? And that I like to do free forms. But when I was in college, taking this course, the instructor was a world famous sculptor, but he kind of let us do what we felt like. I mean, first you had his technique was you had to make a clay model and then copy that into stone. Well, my first piece was step one, and I wanted to get to step two real quick, so I just made this clay thing, and it looked nothing like the model at all, and he just thought it was incredible what I did, and I thought it was a little crazy, but that's okay. But I just kept on going, and now actually when I'm doing the work, the stone really tells me what to do. There's a shape in there that I want to work with, and sometimes it doesn't work, but most of the times it does. I have some stone that I tried a long time ago. It's black and gold marble. It's from Vittoro, Italy, and now that I don't use hammer and chisel anymore, that's how we started out, using hammer and chisel and files. Everything is all mechanical. You use power tools. And it seems to be, I find it easier, and it's kinder to the stone. You don't break it off as much as you would, bruise it, and I have more control over that. And with this black marble, which is very fragile, I was able to create some new pieces. So I got about a 900-pound chunk of that stone sitting in my studio right now. But the polish on that, you'll probably see it at one of your next exhibits.
That would be lovely. I have to say, I'm fascinated, and you're not the first sculptor to tell me that sometimes the stone itself speaks and says, this is what I'm going to become, and that is part of what guides you. Well, Joel, I want to thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I want to encourage everybody to come down and check out the Duality of Artistry here at the Marco Island Center for the Arts, 1010 Winterberry Drive on Marco Island. We are open from 10 to 4, Monday through Fridays, and we would be thrilled to welcome you here. In addition, another happening here at the Art Center, we have been so fortunate to have our programs for children this summer, and as you may or may not know, all of our children's programs are free. Cost is not a barrier, and we have seen all of our children's workshops fill up, and one of our workshops, the Playmakers Lab, is a workshop where children have written their own plays and they're creating their own sets, and those little plays, they are short plays, are going to be presented this Friday night, July 23rd at 6 p.m. here at the Marco Island Center for the Arts. It doesn't cost anything, but we do require a reservation as seating is limited. If you're interested in checking out the work of these young playwrights, please give us a call, 239-394-4221, and reserve yourself a seat. Joel, I want to thank you again for joining us. It has been a pleasure to have a chance to speak with you, learn a little bit more about you and your inspirations for your artwork. For my friends out there, again, please come on down and see us, because you know when you cross over our threshold, you become part of our art family. And every day, in every way, we strive to be your art home. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.